What's up, guys? You're watching Cam Gaylor, and today I'm doing my long-term review of the KelTec PMR30. So, I bought this gun about 10, 12 years ago, something like that. So, I've had this a very long time. Kind of. I sold it to my brother. My brother sold it to my grandpa, but it's stayed in the family. I've had it a very, very long time. So, I don't even remember where I got it, if I got it at a gun show or ordered it from Buds or something. No clue, don't remember. But this gun has been in the family for a while, and we've shot it quite a bit. So, you'll hear these horror stories about KelTec. You hear horror stories about the PMR30, in particular about them being super unreliable and how they jam all the time, and then they fall apart when you shoot too many rounds through it. And I've literally had none of that experience at all. This thing has been just fine, and we've shot it quite a bit. I've always bought good ammo. I normally buy CCI mini mags. I don't just buy bulk pack or anything through it. So I've shot mainly CCI exclusively through this gun. Never had any reliability issues whatsoever. Never had any kind of disassembling or falling apart. I think those reports are super exaggerated. I really just don't believe them at all. This thing looks brand new, and it's over 10 years old. I'm just not buying it, guys. I really don't. There's a lot of YouTubers that just make crap up. Even some big YouTubers, some big gun YouTubers, they just bullcrap you. I'm just going to be straight honest. You can't believe everybody that you listen to on YouTube. There's a lot of dudes here that are for the money, and there's a lot of guys that just have egos and stuff floating around. They don't like a brand, so they trash the brand for no real reason because they have no experience with it. So let's get into the specs real quick. I'm going to tell some stories about this thing and just give you my overall opinion of it. So 22 Magnum, so quite a bit more powerful than a 22 long rifle. It's similar to like a 5.7 by 28, 14 ounces unloaded, magazine capacity of 30 rounds, which is a lot. Overall length 7.9 inches, so it's kind of big. Barrel length 4.3 inches. And height 5.8 inches, so it is big all the way around. The width is 1.3 inches, so it's pretty thin though. And then the trigger pull is going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 pounds depending on yours. Mine has an excellent trigger. So let me just tell you about my experience with this thing. So I bought it a long time ago when I didn't have a whole lot of different guns. Back then I had a buddy that used to make holsters and knives and different things for fun, and he made me a holster for mine, and I actually carried it a decent amount. I used to work at a store. We'd get some rough characters that would come in, and I wanted to have a gun on me, and this thing, hang on just a second, my retarded cat just jumped on the back of this chair and knocked it over. Shame. Anyways, back to the review. I'm not cutting that out. Anyways, we had some rough dudes would come into the store and stuff. I wanted to be armed, so my cat's hilarious. I wanted to be armed, so I carried this sometimes because I didn't really have much else. I had a Ruger SR40C, and I had this, and I had some rifles and shotguns and things. And this is very lightweight, high capacity, so it was an obvious choice. Now, you may think that's insane because 22 Magnum is rim fired, but, like I said before, mine's always been reliable. The magazines are kind of plasticky, but as long as you load, maybe 5 rounds, slap the magazine against your palm. I'm doing everything one-handed here, but slap it against your palm like this. Make sure you scoot those bullets all the way back and load 5 more. Slap it against your palm. It takes a while, but you can load 30 that way, and you won't get rim lock if you do that. And as long as you're shooting good quality ammo, it should be reliable. At least mine has been. I have a sample size of 1. My trigger is good on mine. Ambidextrous safety, so it means it's on both sides. You have a safety, which is nice to have, especially with something with as light a trigger as this has. I'm going to try to rack back the slide one-handed. There we go. Not bad at all. So there's what it looks like racked back. I'm going to drop the slide. You have excellent, very bright fiber optic sights. You have like orangish red in the back, green in the front. Super easy to see. The lighting in here is not that good today. It is super dark outside. We're having some storms and things. You do have a Picatinny rail. You can mount a light, laser, whatever you feel like on the front if you want to. But even today, I know a guy that carries a KelTec PMR30. He shot a couple of hogs with his, and he carries it. When he carries a gun, he carries a KelTec, you know. So there are people out there that still carry these. I personally, you know, basically my PSA Rock 5.7 has replaced this. I'm going to carry a 5.7 before I carry 22 Magnum. But it is an option, I guess. You know, rim fire is always going to be less reliable than center fire. So that is something to think about. But that being said, this has been very reliable for my family, and we've shot it quite a bit, and it's proven itself to be reliable. I don't remember if I said it before or not, but it does have a heel catch magazine release, which is a little different, but it does make it ambidextrous just by its location. And that's pretty much all the features I can think of. These days, there are some competition to the PMR30. Back when this thing was introduced, it was really the only game in town. If you wanted a high-capacity semi-automatic 30-round 22 Magnum pistol, this was it. Nowadays, the Smith & Wesson M&P 22 Magnum is out, so you can get a Smith & Wesson. I haven't shot one of those. I don't know how reliable it is or not. And then Walther makes a 22 Magnum semi-automatic as well, but I think it's pretty low capacity. It's only like 15 shots or something. So I would say if you're going to get one, either get the KelTec or get the Smith & Wesson. But yeah, you know, like I said before, I've seen YouTubers talk about how these things fall apart and they're garbage and stuff. You know, just don't believe everything you see on YouTube. There's a lot of money goes into hands here on YouTube, a lot of sponsorship deals, a lot of things like that. And then some guys just like drama. There's a few particular ones that come to mind. They really enjoy stirring the pot because it gets them views. Even if they get to be a little bit hated by people, the views are worth it to them. So their advice is garbage, basically, is what I'm trying to say. There's a few good guys out there. There's a lot of dudes that are in it deeply for the money and the sponsorship deals and things like that. I'm just a random dude. If you want to look around, I'm in the kitchen. I've got the KelTec website pulled up on my laptop, telling you my experience with the PMR30. My cat's destroying the house over here. You know, I'm just a normal dude, a normal amateur, if you want to call it amateur hour over here. That's me. I don't take sponsorship deals. If I start taking sponsorships, I'll tell you about it. But yeah, if you were going to give it a school grade, A, B, C, D, and F, I'd give the PMR30 like a B. It's solid. Mine's been reliable, but it is butt ugly. I mean, you got all the screws holding everything together. It kind of looks like a squirt gun, but it works. You know, it works. It's just an odd design. KelTec is an odd company, but I really enjoy their stuff. I love my RFB. Thanks for watching, guys. This is my long-term review of the KelTec PMR30. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.